That's interesting. The with the Hitchhiker Effect, we can certainly attest to that. It appears to be there appears to be some kind of Hitchhiker Effect with these things. At least people spend a lot of time observing them, or spending a certain amount of time observing. It seems to follow people back. I mean, we've had it with each of our members of our group.
That happens to people.
Yes.
Experience something. I went down a deep dive in my own head the other day, and I thought to myself, that sort of makes sense because if you're experiencing something that takes you to a place that you never thought you would be, some sort of a conclusion that you never thought you would have, some sort of thought that doesn't exist, and suddenly, yeah, that exists. If you have that type of experience, then I think your mind is now open to other experiences, and our words and our cultural experience don't have ways of translating. So we're translating it into monsters or other types of phenomena, which it might not be a monster at all. It's the way we're translating it.
Right. It's our interpretation of it, based on the limitations of our own senses.
Correct. But, our senses are now opened because we've just experienced some phenomena. It's like seeing some sort of fogginess and something and attributing it to a ghost. That's how we're translating it. So we'll say, "Oh, I saw a ghost." In the meantime, you've seen some phenomena. You don't know if it's a ghost.
Right. Yeah,
You've seen something strange.
And these things might be extensions of reality. We experience a three-dimensional reality, but if reality is composed of 4, 5, 6 or higher dimensions, there may be more to us, more to the world we live in. We don't our sensory system doesn't pick up. We're limited to a three-dimensional space. That's it.
But the point is, this is going on around us all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And something that's called paranormal simply because we just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And which is what paranormal means. Our brains are pulling in information that it can repeat, remember, memorize, all of these things. That's what our brains are doing. So if it sees something that's, what is this? It's going to turn it into a story.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't keep seeing it, it doesn't have an explanation. But if it sees it a lot, then it becomes a long story.
Yeah.
A very long. But if our culture doesn't have the ability to identify it or categorize it, or we're so scientific about everything. Everything has to have an explanation. So the West has to categorize it and replicate it, and then turn it into a marketable item that you can buy at Kmart. So what other cultures might accept, the West doesn't accept too well. But I think that's changing.
Yeah, the West has been lagging in that area. There's other cultures that are more open to these kinds of things. I remember as a kid, I read up on something proposed was called a filter theory, and it talked about the human body and human perception, human sensory system being have its limitations, and of course it filters reality into a construct that we can understand or we can interact with.